Okay, so in my last few bracket videos, we talked about the best classic shonen and the best modern shonen. However, while making those videos, I definitely noticed a trend. Specifically, there was a pretty big difference in how these series were set up. So to fully explain what I mean by this, we probably need to talk about what made classic shonen what they were, and vice versa. When you think about classic shonen anime, there is likely a few that you think of right away. Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, and of course Dragon Ball. More often than not, specifically Dragon Ball Z. So one thing that stands out in all of these series is that they are long, like super long. And each one has a pretty big focus on the main character, starting at the very bottom and developing into these insanely powerful super beings. Goku, for example, begins as a kid, learns martial arts, and by the end of Dragon Ball Z, he can one-shot a planet easy. Naruto begins as a kid who can't even do a shadow clone, and ends up being able to blast a hole through the moon. And so on. You guys know the drill. These are long-standing shows where the antes are constantly being raised, until they eventually lose control of their shit and end up becoming these extreme battles between people who might as well be gods. Except One Piece, my favorite shonen classic. They still have their stuff pretty under control, in that regard anyways. However, without a doubt, the core values of every shonen in the classic era seem to revolve around two things. First, an active protagonist with a goal, and second, the willingness to punch your problems in the face. And there was a heavy emphasis on punch there. Shonen from this time were nearly all martial arts based in some way. Sure, they all had their own unique flares like Devil Fruit's Ki, Chakra, or Zanpakuto. Regardless of the battle system of choice, they all feel more or less the same. With these series, their core beliefs guided the shows, and it's the shows that went above and beyond to bring something else to the table that really stood out. For example, Naruto has themes of fate, hatred, revenge, and even discrimination, while One Piece was a grand adventure of the Straw Hat crew. This crew has a special bond and truly feels like a family, but they all still have their own ambition driving this adventure and moving them in the same direction. The man they follow and admire, Monkey D. Luffy, leading the way as the captain of the crew with the largest ambition of them all to become the king of the pirates. On top of that, One Piece deals with themes of corruption and has amazing world building. As you can tell, I absolutely love One Piece, and I think it's a standout from that era of shonen. And it's the addition of these things that lead more people to prefer these two shows to things like Dragon Ball, which became what is more or less a plotless brawl. And I think this really was the turning point for the genre. Mangaka and studios began to realize that it was the extra details that really made the shows. And as such, they stopped being backseat factors. It's much more rare to see a brawler like Dragon Ball in the modern era, whereas shows focusing on characters' personal growth have become the focus. Look at things like Black Clover, Demon Slayer, or My Hero Academia, all focus on the development of their characters first, while the fights become a secondary factor. So much so that the emergence of series like Shokugeki no Soma, Haikyuu, Fire Force, Dr. Stone, and so many more bring the shonen formula to series which have a unique twist or which would typically fit into other genres. Shokugeki no Soma being an amazing example. It's one of my favorite anime of all time, and for good reason. Take your typical battle shonen, but replace fighting with cooking contests known as Shokugeki. They took the shonen formula, threw it on its head, and focused on its cast of characters. Soma, Megumi, and Erina are all super different and unique characters that develop in different ways. And those are just three that have a great contrast, but the entire series is filled with amazing characters. And don't get me wrong, the battles are still crazy epic. If anything, they're probably more epic than a lot of the typical shonen fights we have become so used to. On top of that, this show will make you hungry and horny just by watching it. Clearly, the mangaka is an absolute mad lad and genius, knowing that nutting and food are two of the greatest pleasures in life. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. Their shonen formula has evolved to incorporate different themes, more unique plot lines, and less bland stories. So much so that one of the ongoing series, Demon Slayer, has actually been a return to form. The plot is fairly simple. A boy trains to become a Demon Slayer to defeat the powerful Muzan Kurotsuchi so that he can cure his sister. Rather than innovating the formula, Demon Slayer instead chose to focus on the basics, creating a great sense of atmosphere through color, animation, and music, while perfecting the presentations of the characters using elements like fear and comedy, and the generic shonen training system to make a well-rounded series with very few shortcomings, and a boatload of things done well. But even this return to form realizes the importance of quality animation and pacing, unlike the super long running counterparts of the past. Most new shonen realize this, I guess other than like Black Clover, but because of Black Clover's pacing and animation, it honestly feels like it's behind its time in that regard. And I honestly wish it was given the Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, or Shokugeki no Soma treatment, because the show has a lot to offer. We've gone through an evolution of shonen where we've seen the bare bones classics inspire a generation of anime with shonen elements becoming more and more diverse. However, with the popularity of Demon Slayer, I think we might be seeing a split going forward, with some series focusing on the basics of shonen, while others instead assimilate shonen elements to make more complex series. Of course, those are just my thoughts on the shonen genre, and I'd love to hear what you have to say on it. Do you think shonen will keep on getting more and more unique, eventually becoming the modern isekai, where any possible idea can be added to the idea of a new world just to throw something on screen? Or do you think things will start returning back towards the classics? Feel free to let me know down below. And that, my friends, is the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that like button to let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already for more content, which is on the way. And now, I want to give a huge, gigantic thank you to all my patrons and sponsors. Every single one of you guys makes me one step closer to turning this dream of doing YouTube full-time into a reality. I'm graduating university in December, and I think I'm going to give this YouTube thing a shot. We're closing in on 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing, by the way. Thank you, everyone. You guys are awesome. But on that note, a huge thank you to Starry Nick, Beck, A17FFDP, The Anime Dude, Xavier Cahoon, Baby Ray, Thought Destroyer, Siren, Elf Queen Mab, McManga, Nothing But a Fan, Kana, Opinionated Slime, Steelers, and my highest current patron, Viva the Loser. And I want to apologize that for a while I was saying Too Spooky was my only sponsor, but a huge thank you to Too Spooky, A17FFDP again, and the Mexican Dude. Thank you so much, everybody. But on that note, I will see you all next time, dudes. Shinpaku.